Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul. So I was doing really well at not buying that many books, and then we got into February. I don't even know what happened. We got into February and suddenly I was just on a book buying like splurge. I was like, I want that book. Oh, I want that book. Oh, I want that book. Oh, you can all come home with me. Something took over my brain and replaced all common sense. And was like, I know that you don't have any space on your shelves, but you will find some space, you will make some space, and you will go to buy all of these books. And that's what's happened. I have gone and bought loads of books in February. Now I've got to like read them and put them onto my shelves somehow or other. For now, we will just haul them and show them off. Some of them I have read, some of them I have read. I've definitely got to do some of the reading to make up for all of this buying that I've been doing, because this is very counterintuitive to my goal to read down my physical TBR. Okay, so to start off, in January, I did buy 2 books. I did buy 2 books that month, so we can talk through them. The first one is quite an obvious release that I was like, yes, definitely buying that one, no questions about it. And that was House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas, the 3rd book in the Crescent City series. It was quite an obvious purchase. It was an obvious purchase. I've been reading all of Sarah J Maas's books for many years now, probably like 10 years. 10 years. Since the 2nd book in the Throne of Glass books came out, I've been reading her books. Ups and downs along the way, mostly highs, but obviously I was going to be buying this and reading this straight away. That's what happened. So it was an obvious entry into my life. It has now been read, and I will talk about my thoughts and feelings on it in my February wrap up. I then picked up L'Enigme de la Chambre 622, which is The Enigma of Room 622 by Joel Dicker. This is a mystery book written in French, so I picked this up when I was in France. Set in the Swiss Alps. We're following like a police investigation, and there has been a murder many years ago, and I think our main character is going to get mixed up in it somehow or other, and will be investigating this murder that happened at this fancy Swiss hotel. So I know that the other book that I read by him last year was very twisty, turny. You think you know what's going on, but actually you really don't. You get a reveal, and then there's a reveal on top of the reveal, so I assume this is going to have a similar vein to it. But yes, looking forward to getting into this. Moving into sort of like other new releases that have come out, because I have been buying or acquiring quite a few new releases. Those new releases have been like siren calling me. But I don't know, there's lots of anticipated releases over the next few months. And there's still ones that I want that I haven't bought yet, and that have been coming out. I'm like, where are all these books coming from? Like, they just keep coming out, and I'm like, but I can't buy all of you, even though I want to. So one of them that I did get was Feybound by Zara El Arifi. This is the Waterstones edition with the sprayed edges. I did read this, ended up getting an advanced copy at the end of December. This one arrived on its release, as it was a pre-order. This is set in a fantasy world which has elves, fae and humans, but only the elves remain. So we know that however many hundreds of years ago the fae and the humans died out. We're following 2 main characters, one who is quite high up in the elfin army, and the elfin factions are constantly at war with each other, and her sister, who is a diviner and is able to divine like the futures or possible futures, until one day our general in the army gets exiled due to some events which propel them into the Fey lands, and we spend most of the story in the Fey lands, realising that the Fey are not actually wiped out as everyone believed. That's that one, and it's a very pretty edition, and I think the map in it is also really pretty. I spoke about my thoughts on it in my January wrap-up. A couple of other new releases for February. So Orbit sent me 2 new releases for this month. They sent me the Trials of Empire by Richard Swan, which is the 3rd book in the Empire of the Wolf series. I am reading this one. I am pretty much 200 pages in, although I have paused it because I wasn't feeling it. So I put it on pause. I don't know what's going on this month. I've had some very mediocre books, and I was like, so I put this down because I was like, I can't have another mediocre book. But yeah, this is the 3rd book in that series, where we're following Conrad Vonvolt, who is a justice. So he goes around the empire meting out justice as necessary, but we are told the story through the eyes of his assistant Helena. And in the 1st book, they are investigating a murder in a small town, but there's a much wider plot going on, with a very religious uprising that's coming about, and sort of necromantic elements within as well. I really love the 2nd book, and I'm really hoping the second half of this 3rd book picks up, because right now I haven't been loving it. They also sent me Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan, which is the start of a fantasy duology. And I believe in this one we have the humans that are in these like glittery towers and live the life of luxury, whilst everybody else is looked down upon in the depths. And I think it's got quite a merfolk siren culture within it, or so water dwelling fantasy creatures, and all of like the refuse goes into their water, and so they're constantly being, well, looked down upon and mistreated. I'm looking forward to reading this. I feel like I'm going to really enjoy it. It may just be because I really love the cover, but I am looking forward to reading it, and I really hope it lives up to my expectations. And then the final February release that I have recently bought, this one I got myself. I went into the works and I was like, oh, I want that one. And that is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. If you're in the UK, this is in the works right now, and it was £5. And I was like, why have you got a new release for £5? Thank you very much. I don't know what the works is doing, but they sometimes have some hits. I could not resist this. I have read quite, well, I'm now up to date on Ali Hazelwood, so I've been reading quite a few of her books. I have just read this one and I really enjoyed it. Very compulsively readable. Yeah, this is her newest release. It's like a paranormal romance, as opposed to her normal, like, or the contemporary romance that she has been doing prior to this. In this world, there are vampires, wolves, and humans, and they have a treaty, which means that they are not at war, but there are lots of tensions between the species. And our main character, Misery, ends up in a forced marriage of convenience, a forced marriage to the male love interest, Lo, who is the alpha of the wolf pack, and she is the vampire. And it is them coming together. This really reminds me of the Side Changing series. So if you've read the Side Changing series, then I think you'll like this, and vice versa. I did get a little bit like worn out with the Side Changing series because I found that the romantic pairings sort of became quite similar. And I was like, I feel as though I need to change things up here because these romantic pairings are just the same. But seeing as it's been like not quite a year, but I don't know, at least 6 months since I read any of those, it was quite nice getting back into that like paranormal romance vibe. But this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun, and I think she actually did it well. And I didn't mind that there's no lore or history that explains the world building at all. It was a lot of fun and very steamy. At the same time as buying that in the works, I also bought Check Her Mate by Ali Hazelwood in the works for £5. And I've read this one as well this month. This one is marketed as YA. I don't think it's YA, I think it's new adult. There's just a lot less steam in this one than there is in this one. So I guess they're like, it's not adult because there's not as much steam in it. And I was like, but these characters are like 20. So is it really YA? I would figure YA is with characters that are more in their teens. But anyway, this is a chess-centered contemporary romance following two characters that are competitive chess players. Our main character has distanced herself from chess for many years, but she ends up going to like a charity tournament and beats the world number one, who is our male love interest, and then it is them like coming together and training and doing more and more chess. And it makes me want to like play chess, even though I haven't really ever played chess. I was like, oh, maybe I could give this a go, but no, we're not going to be very good at that. But I did enjoy reading about it. It makes me want to rewatch like the Queen's Gambit as well. If you have that like chess itch, then I would recommend it. Okay, then one weekend at the beginning of February, I met up with my friend Brittany, and we went book shopping. So we generally like go out for brunch maybe like once a month, and we try and alternate roughly between more local brunch spot and a central London brunch spot, and doing all the book shopping when we do the central London one. And we went into central London, had our brunch, and then we were like, we'll just go have a look. We'll just have a browse. And then the sales were on. The sales were on. I don't know what was happening in the shops, but they had some good deals. They had some very good deals, and we both came back with our bags a lot heavier and our purses a lot lighter. So firstly, we went into Waterstones Piccadilly, and they had the lower ground floor. There was a whole room in there that was sale and like dedicated to sale, and I was like, okay. I mean, there was a lot of things that I am not particularly interested in. There was a whole range of genres and a whole range of things you're like, where have they like dug this out of? Like, where have they found this book? But I did find one in there that I was interested in, and that is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, the sequel to Ninth House. I'm a bit surprised I've not read this, because I absolutely adored Ninth House when I read it back in 2019 or whenever it came out. I read it, and I hadn't bought this yet either. I think I'm still a bit peeved that they didn't do a Waterstones edition of this, or a Waterstones edition that matches the Waterstones edition that they did of Hellbent, of Ninth House, because my one of Ninth House has like the blue into black, nice sort of ombre style thing. I also just don't like this rabbit. I just don't like it. Why would you put a dead rabbit on your cover? Like, it's just not particularly pleasant to look at. So anyway, I hadn't bought it, but when I saw this in the sale, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll get this now, because I know that I am going to read this. I will read this. I just haven't yet, because there's no news on that third book, and I think this is now a trilogy, so I think my intention will be, when we get news on the third book, I can just reread the first one, which I know I'm going to have to do anyway, then read this one, and then read the third one. But this is like a dark academia story following Alex Stern, who is entered into Yale, and she doesn't really have the like background for it, but she can see ghosts, and so that's why they enroll her there, and then she spends her time sort of ensuring that the secret societies at Yale are behaving themselves, and there is a whole murder mystery case that goes on. I'm definitely intrigued to see where this goes. I feel like I've seen some like mixed reviews on it, but I do want to read it. So that was the only book that I bought there, but then we went to Forbidden Planet, and it was a very dangerous bookshop. That bookshop is, I mean, I love it. It's like my favourite bookshop in London. As a fantasy reader, it's the best one to go to. Would definitely recommend if you were visiting London as a book lover. But it was so dangerous. It was so dangerous. I think I came out with, well, in total that day I came home with 4 books. My friend came home with 8. It was like, oh, there's a deal. Oh, there's a deal. Oh, there's a deal. Oh, it was just so easy to buy the books. I picked up The Oleander Sword by Tasha Suri. This is the sequel to The Dragon Throne, which I read last year. So this one was on my like, I need to buy list, because I need to continue on the series, and I've been delaying because the third book's not coming out until the end of this year. So yeah, this is like a epic Indian inspired fantasy. It's a multi-perspective story. Our princess has been locked up in this tower, where our other main character is one of the servants looking after her. There's a very interesting magic system, and people have sort of been taken over by these like trees, and it's like a disease out there. So I am definitely interested to continue. I've just delayed. I might need to read like a quick summary of book 1, because there's a lot that goes on. It's very detailed. This was there, and it was signed, so I just couldn't resist picking it up, and it was on sale, so it was like £6 instead of £10, so I was like, okay, you can come home with me. Then I picked up Talon Sister by Jen Williams. This was the deal. This was the deal of the deals. This was like £6.99, and it's a hardback, and it is signed. And I was like, yes, and my friend was like, yes, and we both went, okay, that's happening. So I read Jen Williams' series, The Ninth Reign, and I did quite enjoy it. I'd say it's like a 4-star series for me, so I was definitely interested in picking up some of her other works. I don't actually know that much about. Uncover a world of mythical creatures, ruthless religion, and a magical past that refuses to be forgotten. I'm assuming there's going to be, these aren't dragons, but like centaur type creatures in this one. Griffins. Now, I haven't read that much into it to know that much about it, whether it's a series or the first book. Very limited information on it. It's just I know that she's an author that I have enjoyed before, and so I trust that I should enjoy this one as well. And when I saw the deal, I was like, okay, no questions asked here. And then the final book that I picked up during that trip was the Jasad Heir by Zahra Hashem, which is the start of a fantasy, I think it's trilogy. I think this one's Egyptian inspired. Shattered kingdoms, forbidden magic, and cunning royals. 10 years ago, the kingdom of Jasad burned, its magic was outlawed, its royal family murdered. At least that's what Silva wants people to believe. The heir of Jasad escaped the massacre, and she intends to stay hidden. A deadly game begins. Yeah, so I've heard that this does a really good job with having a strong like fantasy plot line, but there is like hints of romance in it. That there is like a romantic subplot, which is something that I really enjoy. I really enjoy when it's mostly fantasy, but there is a romance like threaded through the story. So I'm definitely interested to read this. I don't know when like further installments in a series are coming out, but when I saw this one, for like £10 signed. I was like, well, you can come home with me as well. The deals in that, I couldn't resist. And they kept putting more things out. So like originally I hadn't picked this up. Like I've looked through the sales section, I've been like, right, okay, I've got everything I want, we're good. And then like we're going around the rest of the store. And then I went back to the sales section and they put a whole load of new things out there, including this one. And I was like, well, you can come with me. So then I was like, oh, do I just need to wait around here all day to keep seeing what they put into the sale? Because they were making that sale work. And then the final 2 books that I have picked up in February are the second and third book in the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn. So A Perilous Undertaking and A Treacherous Curse. So I read the first book in January, that was January, yeah, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, okay, definitely want to continue on with the series, which is when I realised that the rest of the series is only published in the US. Well, books 1, 2 and 3 are published in the UK, and then I would have to change to US editions. So I was like, right, no, we're just going to swap to US editions now, and then maybe buy like the first book as well in the US edition so that I can have a whole matching series. I was like, you can't be going around with this unmatching series. No. So I ordered these. They took quite a while to come. They took a good few weeks, a lifetime to come. They have finally arrived. So I can start them, which is perfect timing because I took the first one on a trip to France with me, and now I'm going back to France tomorrow and I can take the second one with me. And I feel like this is the right choice. This is the right book to be coming away with me. This is a historical mystery series with I'm hoping a romance threaded throughout it as well. It's a very long series. There's like 8 books with the 9th book coming out soon. And I think each book will follow a sort of mystery type theme to it. Definitely interested and excited to continue on with this series. There we go. Those are all of the books that I have acquired recently. I feel like that's more than enough books for February. I definitely need to like slow down now and like stop and just like stop, because I already had enough books. I didn't need to buy any more, but then the sales happened and I won't. So hopefully I can just control myself now and just do the reading. Like I can spend the end of February, March doing the reading, not bringing books in. That is the hope. And then maybe I can buy some more in like April, maybe, once I've like got through this stack. I don't need to buy any more. But there we are. Or I'll have to start trying to find like some more books to unhaul so that I can make room for these, because I just don't have the space. Okay, so let me know how your book buying has been going so far in 2024. If you were like me and you had a very restrained January and then everything went out the window in February, because I relate to that. Or if you've still been maintaining that momentum of not really buying any books, then I'm very in awe of you. Or as well, if you have any thoughts on any of these books. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!